The Tuhohy family's wealth, the father earned $200 million by selling his conglomerate of fast food restaurants. So in order to believe Michael Oher's version of events, you would have to think that despite them having tremendous wealth themselves, despite the family selling the fast food conglomerate and its franchises for more than $200 million, that they conspired to meet with this athlete who they had no idea was going to make it to the NFL, who they had no idea if they wrote a book about it was going to be picked up and turned into a movie, all so that they could steal a couple of $100,000 extra dollars from him, which are conveniently sitting into his conservatorship. Obviously, that's foolish. It's an incredibly foolish belief. What they did out of their hearts. There's no question about that. Placing him in a conservatorship, picking him up from his mother's house as was displayed, allowing him to live in their house, taking him to practice, making sure that he made it there, making sure that he got into a good school, signing all the contracts. They did not do this for money. They did this because they were just good people who cared about him and loved him as though he was their own son. And now, 20 years down the line, he's turning their back on them. Why? Well, as I said, I have an inside scoop as to what happened here. It's the same thing that happens all the time. Black Lives Matter has rotted people's brains. That's what happened. I'm telling you, this is not what happened. He got out of the NFL. He's seeing the media. He's seeing black versus white. Now people can't even see their friends the same way. You know these stories. People that were friends for decades, best friends growing up. Now they no longer talk. They no longer talk because suddenly their black friend woke up one day and realized that their friend for decades was actually a racist the entire time because the media told them so, or because they had the wrong perspective on the George Floyd shooting. This has been the media brainwash and the simulation that America has been existing under, and it's actually causing us to go backwards as a society. And in this particular circumstance, Michael Oher quite literally went backwards in his own mind, reflected on things that were beautiful in his life, and he turned those events into things that were villainous, right? He turned the Tuhohys, a family that did something out of the goodness of their heart, into villains. And I will tell you that he likely had an entire cast of characters around him that supported it. It says that he was married very recently, I think last year, a woman that he was with for a very long time. But I will tell you that just being somebody that is married, you know that these decisions aren't made with just one person. He probably had his wife's full support. He's probably got friends that said to him, oh, yeah, no, for sure, they did you wrong. You're in a conservatorship like Britney Spears. Oh, for sure. That money made $300 million. You're telling me you didn't make any money? They used you, man. Those white people just used you. And eventually it just started to make sense to him. He couldn't actually examine his life and the beautiful blessings that he received. And rather, he is destroying one of the most crucial relationships that he's ever built up in his life, a relationship that brought him every single thing that he has today, aside from his remarkable talent. But of course, talent will only get you so far. You obviously need to be organized. He would have had to apply to school. He probably would have never even applied to school had it not been for the Tuhohys and all of their help with having a mother as a drug addict. But he can't see any of those blessings because Black Lives Matter has rotted his brain. And so unfortunately, this feel-good American story that brought us all closer is now being tainted by a lawsuit in which he's not going to win. I mean, he will win in the form of the Tuhohys already saying, we are happy to acquiesce to you leaving the conservatorship. We are certainly not trying to control you or any of your decisions. Go, take it. They have filed. They want the conservatorship gone. And I'm sure that they also want him gone. Because what a horrible thing to do to somebody that cares about you. What a horrible thing to do to a couple that loved you for no reason other than the fact that they felt a connection to you and they wanted to help you. That's where we're at in America, guys. It's pretty depressing, but shame on him. He should drop this legal filing immediately and apologize to the family for everything that he's done, including trying to hustle them for $15 million before he went public with this lawsuit. Shame on you, Michael Oher.